steering's horrible. I got this lovely Craftsman back in here this morning. Before I go too much further on the fuel system, if I don't want to waste too much time on that, I got to check the drive system out, see if there's anything that can't be easily fixed. Hopefully the transmission works. Maybe I'll turn the pulley and see if the wheels start moving. And then I want to check that mower deck out also before we get too much further. You never know what could happen. All right, just took a quick look. I found that wire that's just taped up. Not really sure what it does. But the kill wire from the coil comes to this peg, and I see there's a broken off little connector on there. So I'm guessing that's it. We're going to need that hooked back up. I just don't know which way it would route. It probably went under the gas tank, so we'll get to that later. All right, I got this tractor lifted up. I just take a quick look at things under here. The drive belt, it looks almost brand new, not a crack in it. Looks very good. That idler pulley's good. I think like the difference between that John Deere I had the other week and this, like cost savings. This is a Murray tractor, only one idler on the whole drive system, just one. Everything's looking pretty good down here. Just gonna turn these wheels. Yeah, all my play is, oh crap, look at that, the wheel's falling right out of it. Should have tightened that up. It's gonna be a problem for now. Okay. Yeah, my steering come right apart. All that was holding that was the tractor. Just leave that like that for now. Okay, I probably won't move that anymore. I'm just gonna pop it in gear. It's in gear, and if I move that pulley, I don't see anything moving. Brake set. Get the belt tension off. Should have the rear end lifted up, but I'm gonna just pretend that's gonna work. It's the worst that can happen. Pretty neat little system they've got for the all-wheel steer. So you got a drag link goes to the back, and then whatever goes on up there comes down to this point, which turns these two tie rod ends and steers. This would be neat in the front end of a mower. A friend of mine did that. He put one of these the back and another one at the front. It was pretty cool. It was here for a long time. If it was still here, I'd go look at it. It was kind of a weird machine. What else do I notice? Everything's probably, we'll find out once the engine's running. All right, just one more check. I'm turning that transmission pulley, and I do see the axles are moving, so it should drive. I'll just give this mower deck a check over. The belt jammed under the idler pulley. Okay, that idler's pretty good. Just pull that. Ooh, okay, some homemade repairs there. That spindle does not turn Might have some spindle problems. Flip that over. Okay, that's broke. That's got to be re-welded. What do you call that? It's part of the mower deck, and if you don't fix that, the deck will start caving in when you're using these on any other mowers. But that piece always has to be attached.
Blades are in nice shape.
Yes, very. One spindle's too tight and one spindle's too loose. See if we can get parts for this or not afterwards. See, or we'll have to just take them apart and see. Maybe it'll just be a driving tractor, depending on how much it's going to cost to fix this. Let's get this steering back together. This had no nut on the back side, just 3/8 fine thread. Locking nut is best. These type here, not the nylock, but I always save these. They come off of Craftsman's, I think. That's where I always see them. I don't have to buy much hardware. Strip a lot of tractors and I just keep everything off them. I wonder why this was apart. Doesn't make much sense yet to me. There. See if this thing will tighten up. It's been off for a long time. I have to hit that down. It's a bit of rust holding that on. There. Oh, the steering is a little bit better now. When I move the wheel actually starts moving. Other than the play in the axle, it should be good. I'm just gonna take this carburetor off now. I put the air filter cover and stuff on in case it rained outside. Didn't really want to get water down the intake. Choke. Oh. That socket might not be very good. There we go. A little bit rounded. Probably change that screw. I'm not getting a good grip on it. Maybe somebody's had vice grips on it or something. Five 16ths. Get our breather tube out. Intake off. Air cleaner. Adapter. Whatever it's called. My fuel line off. I've seen somebody's had the fuel line off because the clamp sitting there. The stuff is Not very good. It's all split. Wouldn't give a good seal. I wonder if that's where the fuel was leaking out. Yeah, this is probably a repower. I already see this rear engine bolt is loose, and this engine's like a universal mount. It's got a kill switch here. Oh, this throttle, okay, so it comes down. Most of them they just attach here and pull. I I've never seen this one here. Oh, if I have, I haven't paid attention to it. Yeah, it's definitely been repowered. So this isn't the original engine. It'd be neat to see a 12 horse with 1,500 hours on it. I haven't seen that yet. I'm sure they exist or existed. I wonder if I can get this choke cable off now. My carb studs off. This carburetor, Walbro LMT, like this is an easy carburetor to clean and rebuild. Pliers are not hammers, are they? Yeah, a little bit of little signs of the carburetor leaking in there. Go test this out. Don't need that. Probably could. Didn't tear. Not recommended to reuse it, but I'm going to reuse it. See what happens. Save a few bucks. I suppose it's time to take this over to the carburetor workbench and tear it down. Okay, got this Walbro carb on the bench here. I don't even hear the float moving. Probably stuck. Something moving. Find out. Oh, yeah, no. That usually comes off. I'm going to have to put that in the vise for a second. Just right here at the carburetor vise, I call it. Oh, that took a lot of force there for a carburetor. Okay, got that bowl nut loosened. Wow, this is gonna be a problem. This is pretty bad. All right, float pin. No. This is like replacement quality here, but I'm gonna try and get this thing apart. Okay, let's get this thing to start moving. Oh yeah, there we go. Use the small punch now. There she goes. Oh boy. Okay. Carb cleaner. Just give that float a spray. Next is this emulsion tube. Now the seat I can replace. That's not a big deal. I'll show you how I take those out. Very important to just replace those seats every time you have clean one of these carburetors. That causes a lot of problems. All right. It's not moving yet. I'll have to put this in the vise also, so I can get a good, some good down pressure on that, so my screwdriver doesn't slip. I might even heat this area up. The edges of the emulsion tube where the flathead connects are still pretty straight. So I'll try and get this apart. This is borderline replacement though. This is pretty bad. Put this in my carburetor vise. Make sure your throttle and choke plates aren't getting crushed. Don't ask me how I know this. Okay, some heat. Just gonna put some WD-40 in there first. Just so if it does start moving, it should move easy. Oh, there we go. You see, someone else was using my torch. All the settings were weird. I'm just gonna heat this tube up. Make sure all the carb cleaner's off of it first. That'll just kind of expand the aluminum around that brass emulsion tube. Hopefully it will come out. Where's my screwdriver? I didn't bring it with me. Let's hope for the best here. Oh, there. Yeah, it's going. That's great. When I first started working on small engines, I wrecked so many of these cars. I've got a box of them. I don't even know if I've thrown them out. All the emulsion tubes are stripped. The things you learn over the years. Oh. Probably should have. I never ordered aftermarket ones back then. Didn't even know about it. Now with Amazon, I think this carburetor you can get it for like $23. Maybe around 23 to $50, but they never run as good as an original that's been rebuilt. Okay, got that out. We'll clean that up. This will run perfect again. That bowl will be the deciding factor. Got that carburetor back. So I've got my emulsion tube out. That's the most important thing. I guess I can take that idle screw out now too. They're never a big deal. I don't find fuel ever sits right there up in this area. Your fuel always sits down low. So get that out. Right. Now the next thing I'm going to get is this brass seat out. So 1/4 inch. What is that? Quarter 20 tap. I'm just going to drive that tap into the brass seat. Now some people use the tap and I've seen just start spinning the seat. That doesn't always happen. I've found that doesn't always work. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the tap's trying to drive itself and expand it. This Okay, I made this little tool. So all this is, that is a carb stud from that carburetor from the engine, a 1/4 20 nut, and then I don't know what this little piece is from, but you can see an old seat still attached. I leave the old, whenever I pull a seat, I leave it on so I don't lose this spacer. It's off. I don't know what it's off of, but you need that spacer so when you pull, the brass seat goes in. So I'm going to just hold on to my old seat there, put my wrench on the other side of this stud, and then just turn that seat off. It's not laziness, it's just if I leave that on, I won't lose that little spacer. And I don't know what it was from. Something tells me it was from like a propane torch, but anything that can kind of work to do this will work. So got the threaded end there. I'm gonna thread that into that seat now. Okay, I'm gonna put that spacer down, run the nut down. Hope I'm catching this good. And then I'm just gonna tighten that nut, and that is already pulling the seat out. And the seat is out. Okay. Now I'm gonna clean this up really well and go from there. All right, that float. It's pretty filthy. But they usually clean up pretty easily. It's the you gotta get the little bits off. The little bits are what plugs the idle circuit up. Main jet's got a pretty big hole in it. I have an ultrasonic cleaner, but I use it sometimes, but nothing beats just a visual clean of these carburetors. If you know where all the passages are, it should go pretty well. That'll be good enough. Okay, that emulsion tube is pretty filthy. Brand new wire brushes. Just get all that crap off. These things clean up pretty easily, I always find. They must have been pretty good before ethanol fuel. I wasn't in the business before ethanol fuel, so I didn't get to see what the problems were, but like varnish, I'm guessing. Just gently. I like to clean these out. I just keep a set of tip cleaners for torches here, and I don't file them out. I just kind of run these through and just make sure it's loose. Like, yeah, I don't get in there and file. Just kind of reach in there and get any hardened deposits off. Okay. And this will be good enough. All the holes are clear sideways. Main jet, I can see right through it. That's good. My idle screw here There's that nice piece of, what do you call this stuff again? Scotch Brite. That's it. There, that's good. What else we got? This is going to be a problem. I don't even want to reuse that. That's nothing but rust. Oh boy, this is, yeah. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I thought. It's pretty bad, but it's all coming off. I have these on the shelf, a whole box of them. Problem with this is the rust will return because these are coated, like galvanizing, and it's down to bare metal in spots. And the problem with that is it's just going to rust again, especially if you get a bit of ethanol fuel in there. Then you're going to get chunks of rust, and then it's going to block the jet again. And it won't be my problem then because I'll probably have sold it by then, but I'm just going to put a new bowl, unfortunately. I don't feel right saving this one. They're cheap. I think the Canadian price is like $12. So we'll replace that. Okay, I'm just gonna get as much of the rust off of this as I can. Like I said, these carbs are just rebuildable so many times. As long as the throttle shaft isn't, there's a little bit of play, but I think that feels pretty normal. The choke shafts sometimes from nasty old ethanol fuel swell up in the bottom here. You sometimes have to replace them. They get stuck. This one's pretty good. Could be the Nicky carbs. There's a Nicky version of this. Most people would understand what I mean. Not most people, most small engine people would understand. There's a Nicky version of this instead of Walbro, and I find the choke shafts get stuck on them more often. I'm going to take them out and you can just shave a bit of the plastic off the bottom, and then it'll start working again. Or order a new choke shaft. Sometimes you just don't have a choke shaft in stock, though. Another thing too, you'll from getting that seat out, there'll be metal filings in here. Make sure you clean them out, or the carb will be leaking again. Ask me how I know. That was years and years ago, but I remember that happening. Rebuilding the carb, and it leaked again. Couldn't figure it out. And all we had done was replace the seat. The rest of the carburetor was very clean, but the seat was leaking. So took it all apart again, and yeah, there's metal filings. That was from the tap when it's cutting its threads in there. This is looking pretty clean by right now. Just make sure all my ports are clean. I like spraying through the idle air bleed and watching fuel comes out these little holes back here, and fuel's running down there. It's like a three-way system. And I see it coming through, just dripping, but it's coming through back here, and I can see it running down right there. Still pretty filthy though. I got these little cleaning brushes. I think it came with some carburetor off Amazon once. I don't know why they send them. Like, you order a new carburetor off Amazon, it comes with cleaning tips. I don't know if they're trying to tell you like this carburetor might need cleaning before use. All the metal shavings maybe from manufacturing. I'm not sure. Maybe they don't clean them. I never understood that. Run the big one up through. Just clean those threads out. Kind of twist them. And if you don't want to watch this, you could always just fast forward through this section. All right, I'm going to give this carburetor a pass, and I'm going to go grab my parts to rebuild it. Get a clean area started here. Okay, let's get this out of here. New piece of cloth down. All right, I got my bowl kit, my seat, I got my float needle. It's literally everything you need to rebuild these carburetors. If you're, you need your bowl gasket too. It comes with the bowl. I don't buy the whole carburetor kit. I've never bought one. I've only used these two parts and usually just the bowl. Interesting. There's the seat, little brass seat made in Mexico. Float needle. The float needle made, Nether NL. It's probably not Newfoundland. It's probably Netherlands. That's interesting. And float bowl kit made in US. That's great. Okay. Kind of from quite a few different places in the world. I always use my teeth to open these bags. I've been told not to do that though. So I'll use a knife and I'll do it the proper way. Okay. These float bowls, even though they're brand new, I don't know if you can see the metal flakes. They always need a clean before. Just give that a spray out. Yeah, they're better than they were. For a while, they were full of big pieces of metal flakes from the plating process, I'm guessing. They didn't catch it on a few, and they ran good, and then they stopped. And I think metal flakes got up into the idle passages. All right. All right, I got my seat here, my needle, float. Actually, first, throw this emulsion tube in before I forget. Always clean your screwdrivers off. When you're reassembling these, it's a good way for dirt to get into the clean carburetor. It's through a dirty screwdriver. Now there's different types of these carburetors. This one, the emulsion tube, has the hole for the jet. Sometimes the jet is screwed into the side, usually actually on this side here. Has to be taken out before you can get the seat out. Seat. Yeah, I'm ready to install that seat. So I use a brass punch that I've kind of filed down, cut and filed down. Doesn't take a lot of force. I just hold it. It'll usually bottom itself out, but I always figure about a millimeter high. What's that in fractions? A 16th, maybe? Yeah. Millimeter high. Okay. Depending on how far you leave that seat up or in, out, in, it'll change the float height. Okay. But I usually find just that millimeter is good. Now I got to reuse my float pin, so just give that a clean off. It must be made out of a good metal because whatever was on it was just on the outside. A little bit of dirt there. I'm just going to blow this out quick. Just one final blast of air before I put this back together. My bowl gasket on. New bowl nut gasket. Tighten that up. And then get this pressure vac tool out. Test for vacuum first. I don't know if you can see that gauge. I see there was glare on the last video. And it's holding a tiny bit of vacuum, no problem. So put it to pressure now. I go to, what is that, about 7 psi. And it is not moving. And it's dry. Like, there's more chance of it leaking when the needle and seat are dry than when they're wet with fuel. Yeah, that's a pass. I would have tested this when I first took it off, but the needle was stuck anyways. So didn't really matter. I didn't check how many turns out that was. Forgot to do that. Got a crushed down screwdriver for a what is that? Just crushed down. It's not really. It's just kind of it's not a driver you would find anywhere else. Okay, I'm just gonna go 1.5. I don't know what the setting is for that. I can go look in the manuals, but I'll just go 1.5 and see how it idles. That carburetor is ready to run. Nothing wrong with that carburetor at all. Very tough, rebuildable carburetor right there. All right, my carburetor's done, but I really don't like this fuel line. Hard as a rock. I think I'm just gonna I think for the sake of time, I'm not gonna replace this back section. I probably should. It looks old. That involves, I can't get back there. It's up underneath the tank. So I'm just gonna leave it for now. All right, that fuel line I tried to cut the fuel filter off and the fuel line just snapped. Well, look at that, just broke. Like a piece of hardened plastic. It's probably an old original fuel line. So three screws on both sides of the tank. It's actually not as bad as I thought. And hopefully I can get this tank out of here. I got 2 more screws to take off. This is turning into a project. here. I'm not familiar with this model at all, so. Okay, little hood bracket. I think that's what that was. Zoom out here. Oh, I can't. Okay, anyway, just some bracket here. And the fuel tank. The dashboard was already loose, and I got it. Right, I'm gonna replace that fuel line now and throw that tank back. Got my fuel tank out of the way. Now, I just gotta see what this wire is for, and I think it's the kill wire. I'm gonna grab my multimeter and just see if it goes to ground when the key switch is off. I don't see. On this side, I only have the two stator wires, AC and DC. No wire to shut the ignition off, which is, I don't find very safe. You should have a way to shut the engine off. Which also, if you were cutting grass and you fell off the seat, that's what it does. It grounds the ignition out. So just see what this mystery wire does. I don't even think it's not even really long enough, because I think it's supposed to go under tank. Okay, so anyway, I should put this to ground. Put this to, what was it called? Continuity? Resistance? That's it. I'm not an electrical engineer or nothing. So that is, yep. Okay, so with the key off, it's connected to ground. With the key off, this wire goes to ground. So it has continuity. I could be wrong with my terminology here. I know in my head what it's supposed to do. And I turn the key on, it goes to infinity, I believe. So it's disconnected. Yes, this is the kill wire. I'm just gonna put a longer piece of wire on here so I can get it connected after the tank is installed. Get this out of the way. Okay, I got a piece of wire soldered and heat shrink to that mystery wire, which is actually the kill wire, probably for the engine before this. It was on the other side. Makes sense, the wire wasn't long enough. Actually, I used this piece of wire I got off the John Deere from the other day. Might as well recycle it, and it'll ring, the little ring terminal will attach right there. Should be good. I'll get the new fuel line ran, and get that tank back in now. That went like that. After putting the tank in once, and then having to take it back out because I dropped there's a fuel level gauge for this tractor on the dash, and the wire must have fell down in behind. I couldn't get it. I didn't know what wires to pull on, and then it was actually stuck, so it's a good thing. It's probably spending a little more time on this than I would like. I got other stuff to do, but I can't wait to drive this thing. Fuel line's in. I just got to tighten all this tank back up. Another mystery wire. Gotta love mystery wires. It's just corroded and broken off. Oh, must go with this one because it's corroded. Oh, it's okay. It's just a dash light for discharge. Okay, when starting, and then it says, oh, when starting, discharge. It's just for the charging wires. So probably, don't know what I'm going to do with that. I wouldn't have that connector. See if I can get that out. Wonder if that just pulls out. Oh, it breaks and falls down into the tractor is what it does. All right. Oh, found it. It's just a light socket and it's no good anymore. That light for the charging of the batteries, probably if that shorts out, we're going to have problems. So I just cut them off clean. And I'm just going to put a piece of heat shrink over that. And there's no gas in this tank right now, but do this safely. Start. I looked out back. I don't have a connector, like a light socket for that. So I'm just going to have to make do. What other lights do we have here? I don't know. Fuel and then all systems go. That's interesting. All systems go. That was probably supposed to be attached to something. Just, I guess, leave that back there. All right, keep going here. I got my tank all installed. Just gonna loosen this kill wire terminal up. Put this one on. There's that. Should be able to shut this engine off now. All right, my carburetor. My rebuilt carburetor here. I didn't clean the outside very well, but it's okay. Choke rod. Throttle rod. I'm just going to reuse that gasket, like I said. Could regret that decision. We will find out. I'm sure it'll be fine. Oh. Okay, just working away at this. I was going to hook a choke cable back up, but it is totally seized up. But these Briggs engines, if I adjust my throttle cable and the screw, there's usually a stop screw here, which isn't there. So if I just adjust this cable a bit, I'll get my choke working off the throttle, and then I can get rid of that seized up choke cable. Goes off the flywheel. I just got to tighten those carburetor studs up. All right. So what I got for throttle? Okay. I gotta loosen that guy up. Hopefully this will work for me. I'm just gonna pull on that. I got set to full throttle. I'm just gonna pull on that cable. My choke plate is shut now. All right, let's see if that gives me a choke. Not really. It's close. I'm kind of at the end of my adjustment here because of this rod. Plastics hitting the end. I wonder if I can just adjust that tang. That might be the ticket. So that out of the way. Okay, let's see what this does. And my choke is closing. I'm hitting full throttle and then choke. Choke to start, full throttle. Yeah, that'll work. All right, my roll of fuel line here. Just cut a piece here off. Oh, I'm ever glad to get the new fuel line back in. And clamps. I was out of clamps also. Oh yeah, because this fitting goes straight out. Some of the carburetors have the bend. Briggs and Stratton will sell you a piece of fuel line with a bend in it for about $20. I don't know. Well, this will just have to work. The only problem is, like, as long as the hood doesn't run into it, I may have to, without kinking it, get it. Anyway, that'll be fine. Putting any dirt in there. Clamp. Fuel filter hooked up. Okay, next I'm going to throw some fuel in here. I think I'm done everything. All my soldering is done. I don't think I need to do any more soldering type of work. So I'm going to throw some fuel in there. I'm going to throw some of this 4-cycle storage type of fuel in. It's a little pricey, but I don't know when how often this is going to get used. Oh, I wonder if the tank has a hole in it. I don't see anything. No. No leaks so far. I think I'm ready to give this a start. So I'll take the mic off, and it records the engine sound better with the mic off. Okay, I'm gonna give this a start. Idles probably needs a bit more idle fuel. That started pretty well. Next mission is I'm gonna take this cover off, take it outside, and might be a little bit of blockage in the cooling fins. Grabbing this, just taking this cover off, and these bolts on the back are supposed to be on the front. On the other side, I barely got out, running into this metal shield. Just, I don't want to mess the threads up, but this side come out. So yeah, these go in the front. The short ones go in the back, so there's room to take them out. Anyway, just more nonsense. All right, got that engine cover off. It's not really that bad in here. A little bit of mouse droppings. Must have been a nest in here at one time. Coil wire looks good. Kill wire. It's not rubbing on, not worn through. So let's give this a blast of air right in here for a second. Actually, I might just vacuum that off. my air filter kit here. There's a part number. Okay, here we go. First we start, and then I'll try and drive it. That's great. All right, I got the hood. Throw it on. That's the okay. Just gotta take this bolt out. That's the coolest part of the tractor is the hood. Rare. That's a rare hood. Okay, this one's broke, but that's okay. Those aren't factory. That's electrical tape. Electrical tape, racing stripes. Some of the steering joints. I know you're not supposed to, just because of the dirt and dust will stick on it, but that'll be the least of this machine's problems. When you get driving, it's kind of hard to steer. Oh, yeah, I need this side. No grease fittings I can see. Haven't looked into it much, but and then you got that big center pivot there. Goes up through the transmission. That could be all seized up also. Okay, so my $50 marketplace tractor that said the engine was done and all the wheels turn. I think he meant to say steering wise, all the wheels turn, not all the wheels turn. So I $50, the gas 20, a used battery, a connector, carb parts, fuel line, air filter. I'm under 150 Canadian. So American dollars, whatever that converts to. It runs, it drives, doesn't run too bad. It's a little off. Could be valves. I'm not touching those. Greased it. The steering's got a little mystery click to it. I'm not going to find out what that is. Everything's tight. My next part will be the mower deck. See what all it needs. Could be a part 3 or a part 4 with that, depending on how long parts take to get for that. All right, I think that's it. Thank you for watching.